Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on wherever you are from. So, now, today in our Sunday morning Bible verse coffee lounge talk, we are going to cover two verses that relates to love. So, the first one is 1 Corinthians 13:4-7, the web version, and the Ephesians 4:2. So let me read it from here. And this is my laptop. I use the web version because there is no copyright issue. Otherwise, there are some copyright issue with the other things. I have an NLT right here, but I can't read it here on the phone, on the video. But anyway, so the First Corinthian, it says, "Love is patient and is kind. Love doesn't envy. Love doesn't brag. Is not proud. Doesn't behave itself inappropriately, doesn't seek its own way, is not provoked, takes no account of evil, doesn't rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things," which is very important. I'm going to talk to more about it. Like, if you guys are coming here, you know that what I do is I share these verses and then I share how it relates with my life, especially whatever is going on currently. And then I encourage you guys to share also in the comments. I'm no expert. I am learning. I am actually a considerably new Christian. I became Christian about a year and a half ago, and I was through many series of unexplainable events because I used to be Hindu and followed Buddhism for a few months very deeply after everything fell apart. If you are new here, about 2.5 years ago, I lost my marriage and my job in the same month, November of 2023, and life shifted in a very good way. It was extremely hard, but I made it through, and now I help other people. So YouTube is part of one of the platform I have. I also have meetup events that I do, and I write books. Anyway, so going back to this, the second one, Ephesians 4:2, "With all lowliness and humility, with patience, bearing with one another in love." So, here's an interesting thing that happened literally yesterday and today, and I'm going to share some more things around this verses. So it was actually a few weeks ago when I first thought about this. Something happened, and I was thinking about these verses, and then they came about. So, as part of my business, as you guys know, a lot of time I talk about it here, what's going on. So, I am creating you can call it reinvention readiness, because this channel is all about midlife reinvention. So, reinvention readiness. And so, I'm creating a test, sort of like, it's like a fun test, sort of like Myers-Briggs, you can think of. So, the idea came to my mind. The idea came to my mind yesterday as I was going through some of my old to-do list as I was going through, because it's like we always have things, but depending on where we are in our growth journey, then looking at the same things, you look at it very differently. How Wayne Dyer said once, this is my all-time second favorite quote, is that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Alice, what's going on? That's my daughter. She's making some sound. Alice, what are you doing? What is that sound? I'm making the YouTube video, kiddo. So, can you please not make that sound? Please. She is 9, going to be 10. So, oh, look at my coffee cup today, mentally on vacation, and look at the snow. So this is like, I'm pretending to enjoy not pretending, I'm enjoying the snow. This is the first snow of the year. I mean, it's not fun going out, but definitely nice to see it. I mean, first big snow here in Virginia, Northern Virginia. So anyway, so yesterday I thought about that, and then also part of some research, I sent it to 23 people total, where I asked them, this is all, some of these are, not some, all three of these are my part of my question for people who I coach, which these days I actually don't coach as much because I pivoted away from that. Anyway, long story short, top 5 people you admire, top 5 books that your favorite books of all time, and top 5 movies. The 3 things, right? So the third one I didn't ask everybody. People will be like, there's too many questions. So the mostly I asked the top 5 people you admire and top 5 books. And it was interesting to see some of them were common because this is, I wanted to research some patterns and things like that. So I asked people, and some of them it was common for one person to another where they don't know each other. So that was really exciting. And I don't have all the responses yet, but I got, I think, 8 or 9 out of 23 so far. So anyway, for me it was of course hard to come up with only 5 because I think I have read over 200 books now. So I tried, and then I came up with about 11, and out of the 11, I think 2 of them were like 2 authors I like a lot of their books. Anyway, so that was interesting because some of them I already knew from a long time, which I really, really liked, and putting it together, like as other people are also putting it, was interesting. And the top 5 people also I knew, but when it came to the movies, I mean, I knew I liked some movies, but top 5, I actually haven't. I didn't sit down to put them together. So when I was putting them down together, actually this morning, and it blew my mind. And it is interesting how when we try to research and learn about other things, how we also learn more about ourselves. And that is what is fascinating about this. And all this relates to the verse and the love, the topic of love. And I'm going to tell you guys how and what, and that's why I'm sharing the background first. So the first movie I wrote down was A Walk in the Clouds, which I liked from a long time ago. It's a 25 years old movie, Keanu Reeves. And then War Room, Fireproof. I mixed up both those two, War Room and Fireproof. And the third one was The 51st Date. Fourth one, I'm mixing up the numbers anyway. Fifth one is The Secret, Rhonda Byrne's. It's about law of attraction. So what in a way surprised me, at the same time didn't surprise me, was that the War Room movie and the Fireproof movie especially, I first watched them during the time when we were trying to reconcile after our separation a few months. And many marriages, as people go through with challenges, and after that, when separation knocks your door, and you try, a lot of people try the reconciliation, and but sometimes it is a little too late. And I think for me, at those times, I think I learned a lot from those movies, and I never realized how deep that learning was. And it actually made me happy to look at that those movies were still my favorite. And sometime in life that could change depending on where you are in life, but I was really, really happy to see that the learning was deep enough for me, which I did not realize, because love is something that the real love has to be, in some sense, sort of like a sacrificial love, right? So when it's a sacrificial love, it's like love. It's like you sacrifice, you want the other person to be happy, and you give without expecting things in return. But in day-to-day life, it is not always possible, because we are human beings, we are made of flesh and blood. So there will be times that you would want something, and you would return things in return. But as long as we can keep going back to that place that there it is the sacred love, is that sacrificial love, And that is something I'm actually also working on myself this year. So I say that as New Year's resolution, people set big goals. I usually tell people to pick one word. I think I might have learned it from somewhere many years ago. I can't remember. Or it could be I mix things up, and that's how I came up with it, because a lot of time I do that. So for me, the word I picked this year is love, and it's not necessarily, sorry about that, it's not necessarily love as romantic love, though it can be, but it is more about love as understanding. How Thich Nhat Hanh would say, understanding is another name for love. And so that is in Buddhism, he says that, said that, he died a few years ago. So that is a good thing. And this verses, if we keep going back to this verses, talks about love is patience, right? So a big part of love is patience too. And we as human beings, I think all of us can use and learn more patience. There is never enough of that we all could use in our life, right? Mm-mm. Oh, the coffee feels good. If you guys don't have your coffee, excuse me, you can pause it, go get your coffee, and come back. So, it is that remembering that love. And if I go back to the verse, all things, believe in all things, and it's all about, and being kind. And these movies, the reason I mentioned about those movies is also, it was if you know the movie 51st Date, right? The Drew Barrymore, she forgets after an accident, and Adam Sandler in the movie, every day he shows that he cares and he loves, and at the end, they get together. And the Christian movies, The War Room, and I would recommend it to people who are not even Christian, just to show like how consistency in love proves more than, and it's not about proving one person to other, but the War Room movie, for example, sorry, both of those, War Room and Fireproof, I mix it up because but they both show the dedication, one from the woman's side, one from the men's side. And one was about infidelity, where the War Room, the guy has some infidelity, and the Fireproof movie, the guy was working a lot, and the family life fell apart because the other person felt unseen, unworthy, which happens a lot. And in fact, what ends up happening is one person starts feeling that in a relationship, and they project that to the other. So both sides, it keeps happening. They feel unseen, unworthy, and all of that, right? And then it falls apart. So it is that knowing, it is that learning, because the best thing what we can do in all of this is that when it comes to romantic love or partnership, is like, we learn from one situation and make sure that we don't make the same mistake in the next. Because in this channel I talk about divorce, separation, and how to reimagine your second half of life. Because first marriage, the divorce rate is 30 to 40%. Second marriage, the divorce rate is 70%. Yes, you heard it right. It almost doubles. A lot of it is because people go from one to the next without doing any inner work, because ultimately we got to take the responsibility and ownership for our part. And if we don't, in fact, and there are some books that would say take 100% responsibility, because the other person is not going with you to the next relationship. So when you know what you could do differently in the next relationship, not everything will be perfect, because we all have our own flaws. I was about to say baggage. Actually, a very good friend of mine, she said to not say baggage, and I liked her point, so that's why I stopped saying the baggage. It's like, we all have our imperfectness. I would rather say that. That's a better word. We all have our imperfectness, but what I also believe is that two imperfect people can be perfect for each other when things align. It's all about alignment. No two people will ever be same, and they won't see the things exactly the same. In fact, it'll get boring if you do. So in fact, John Gottman, Julie Gottman, they have a lot of research done around that. If you don't know who they are, you can look it up. They have a lot of marriage advice and things like that, how to, sort of like prevent divorce, how to have a good marriage and things like that. Anyway, so in their research, a book called Fight Right, in there they talk about how 69%, that's like, 2/3 of the conflicts in a relationship, even in a healthy relationship, never goes away. And the conflict could be related to your dishwasher, laundry, money, kids, and all of that. But it's not about how the conflict happens, but after the conflict, how two people come together to resolve it, right? And a lot of time what ends up happening is, as two people come, they are talking kind of against each other, but it has to be more like, how do they talk together as a team, as if that's a project, that's a thing that they're trying to solve, right? So let me use you guys know I like things like props. So this is my mouse. This is the remote. Oh my god, this is so weird. But anyway, no, I'm going to use something similar inside, otherwise it looks weird. Okay, so this is my microphone thing, the case, and this is the mouse. So let's say if there are two people, right? It's a little bit easier to imagine, maybe two people, you're coming together at the table after a conflict, and it could be for marriage, it could be you're in a relationship together, like, long-term relationship, whatever. But if you talk it as a two different people, you are always going to try to win the battle, because it's not because we are good people or bad people. It's because we are made of flesh and blood, and this is in our ego. And I'm actually reading books from Wayne Dyer a lot, as a Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. It is from 𝐂𝐨𝐿𝐴 Ching. It's spelled T-A-O, but it's also sometimes called 𝐂𝐨. That's actually second most circulated book after Bible in the whole world. So 𝐂𝐨 is sort of, think of like a Bible type of thing in China 2,500 years ago. He talks about non-duality and all of that, but today I'm not going to get there. The whole point is, if you actually, in some way I can say, so non-duality, the concept is not two separate entities. We are all interconnected, and that is what lately actually it's helping me with a lot of my research and my thought process. You go in as one and look at it as a, in fact, the challenge itself is also interconnected. So that's a more deeper concept. I won't get there, but the whole point is, two people, as you go together, the ego clash will be there when you are together, going together to solve that problem as a problem. Then the whole point, the whole love between two people looks different. And marriage, once you get married and you decide to live the rest of your life together, it's a daily choice. It's a daily choice, because if you don't make that daily choice, people will go to work, you will have parties, you have meet friends, you might even get other interests that make you feel intrigued. Again, goes back to flesh and blood, right? So you have to make that conscious choice every single day, that okay, this is your partner, and every single day, sort of like the 51st Date movie or the War Room and all of that, that's why I'm mentioning those movies, is that it kind of teaches love in a way, the little bit of sacrificial love, how it can do good to your marriage. So anyway, like I said, for me, love is very, very, I'm becoming a very deep person. I don't know, deep with a depth, with a lot of learning and whatnot. I'm like, I pray every day for my family, friends, acquaintance, and the 8 billion people on earth, right? I pray for their peace, joy, love for this whole world, because I really do think this 8 billion people is one family, one very big family. So I'm in a very different zone, and that love is love for the humanity, and that's I look at it that way. So just wanted to share this with you guys, these two verses, how they deeply touched me. and how I relate with them. So, I'll be happy to hear how you related with them. Comment in the, comment section, and share these videos with others if you think it'll help others too. Okay, I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.